Hi everyone, it's Jen from Jen's Junk Journal Gems. I'm going to be doing some tea staining paper today, and I have watched several videos on YouTube on how to do this process, and I find that Mrs.Cog's video on her channel explained it the best, and that's the one that I follow, and I'll leave a link below. Now, what I've done is I've just got 3 tea bags in here. I filled it up with some hot water, but not too hot, so I'm not going to burn my fingers. I've poured it in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the one side and then do the other side. Now, I have seen videos of people who actually put a whole pile of paper in, and they just kind of swish it around. I tried doing that, and I'm going to tell you, not all of the paper gets tea stained that way. So if I were to put a big pile of paper in there, there's going to be parts of the paper that are just simply by, being all squished together in liquid. It's not, the tea isn't going to stain the paper in certain spots. So I'm doing it according to what I've learned with Mrs.Cog, and that's what I'm doing now. So I just gently on one side, flip it over. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few in here, and then I'm going to add some more hot water to my existing tea bags. I've only, oh geez, I can't remember if I flipped that over. Talking and doing things sometimes at the same time, I get confused. So anyhow, yeah, so the original 3 tea bags that I used, they're good for one more go of hot water, and then after that I just simply add a tea bag to the mix every other time. And again, that's was suggested on Mrs.Cog's video, and it does work. So I'm sharing with you what does work. So I'm just going to pause the video now. I'm going to heat up some more water. You can use your kettle, you can use your Keurig if you have one. I use my my water cooler. It has the option for hot water on the one side, and I just find that that's the quickest, and I can use it to fill up more than 1 cup at a time, which is helpful. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe off my hands here. I'm going to pause the video, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Another helpful hint is as you're pouring your tea in here, set up the next batch of tea as I have. It's over here and it's soaking now. That way, you don't have to press as much on the tea bags. By pressing, sometimes the tea bags, they can rip. I mean, which isn't a big deal, but you might as well use your time effectively. And having it sit there and steeping while I'm doing these papers. Now, I've got my oven set for 290. I have a Samsung convectional oven, and the temperatures vary, I know, according to elevation where you are, the type of oven that you're using, that kind of thing. So it's suggested by Mrs.Cog that I believe she said 310 is pretty much the max that you want to set it for. Now, so I've got the oven going. Also, this is my second batch of papers that I have tea stained. I did a whole bunch, I don't know, about 3 months ago when I first started doing this journaling. And what I did was I just used plain paper. Now this is just a, you know, standard, you know, 8.5 by 11. I think it's an A4 paper. I just did the plain ones. Now, when I was watching Mrs.Cog, she actually tea stained papers that she had images on. So I've gone ahead and I've printed off a couple of images here. Just on the one side. It's going to be an experiment of sorts. I want to find out whether or not the tea actually affects the color at all. So stay tuned, because I'll be trying that out. What I did was I did a whole bunch in my first batch, and this is actually tea stained paper with strong coffee just kind of blotched on it. That's why it's so much darker. As you can see, the end is rippled, and what I do, once I take them out of the oven, I iron these as well, which I'll show you in this video. But this is an ironed sheet, but you can see the ridge, and that's going to happen. What I've been doing is putting this kind of paper already tea stained and putting it into my printer. I've had great success up until yesterday when I had one piece jam, and I think it was because of the crinkle here. So that's why after I watched Mrs.Cog, I went, oh, okay, maybe what I should be doing is doing just, you know, the plain paper like that without the images on it. But I'm going to try tea staining paper with pre-existing images, and then that way I don't have to feed my paper into the computer once it's been coffee or tea stained. So I'm just going to let that sit for a while. I've only got 2 cookie sheets that I'm using, and what I'm going to do is I've adjusted the racks in my oven to accommodate both at the same time. It's enough to just get 2 sheets onto each tray. So I'm going to get that set up. I'm going to leave this steep for a few minutes more, and then I'll be back. Okay, it's been, I don't know, about 3 or 4 minutes here. Now, obviously, the sheets at the bottom that I first put in are going to be a little bit darker because they've been sitting the most. So I'm just going to see if I can gently bring them up to the top. And put them on the cookie sheet. Now, the first batch is going to take a little bit longer. Now, see how that isn't quite sitting on there properly. Last time it worked, so we're gonna see. Yeah, the first batch is going to take a little bit longer. You'll have to keep an eye on it, probably about 4 minutes or so. Just, you know, peek through the window, and basically what you want to do is you're just drying them in the oven. That's the whole point. So let me see if I can get that in there. The cookie sheets right now, because this is my first batch, they're cold. So that's why it's going to take a little bit longer. What you'll find is as you go, your sheets will sizzle. I'm going to put them this way. I think I put them in wrong the other way. Hold on. It's been a while since I've done this, so I can't quite remember. Now, some of these sheets are ripping a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put that in the oven. Some of these sheets are ripping a little bit. And I'll see if I can, I don't know, make adjustments somehow. And the majority of them aren't. 2 of them, I think it's because I brought the bundle from, you know, the first stack that I put in here, and I put them there, and you know, it was heavy and I lifted them, and so I've got a couple of small tears, so I'm not going to do that again. But as you know, if you've seen my other videos, I learn as I go sometimes too, and I'm hopefully sharing with you some mistakes that I make so that you don't make them. So I'm just going to pause the video, and I'll be right back once they're done in the oven. Okay, I'm thick into the process right now, and I just thought I would show you because this really kind of is an experimental video. Excuse me. I just wanted to show you. These are right out of the oven. They're curled. These are the ones that I put side by side. And this is the one that I thought, you know, just for an experiment's sake, maybe there'll be less curling if I just add one to the sheet. And that's not the case. Excuse me. So that's why, you know, it really doesn't matter if you do them side by side or one at a time. I mean, one at a time is going to take a much, much longer amount of time. So, and who doesn't want to be, you know, finished with this task and get back to the, you know, doing what we do best, and which is making junk journals. So anyhow, there's that I wanted to show you. So it doesn't matter if you do them singly or doubly, they're going to lift. Now I want to show you, I've got the image. Got a frog in my throat today. Remember this image that I put in there? It's got a leaf, it's got a little bit of writing, and another image down here. This is how it turned out. Lots of fading there. The wording is fine. And look at the difference of the leaf. It really changed the color. So just keep that in mind. Perhaps this would be better left if you're just using wording and not images, because the tea will affect, I mean, what a difference, holy smokes. I mean, I'm still going to use it, but it certainly doesn't have the clarity and the detail that I, you know, would like. So I just wanted to show you that. This is actually, I ironed this as well. Also, oh, for heaven's sakes, where's my paper? There was one that I overlapped in the center just to see how it would turn out. Let me see here. I still have to iron these. Ah, here it is. Hopefully the lighting is good. I overlapped just to see what would happen. When they were still wet, I overlapped them, and then I baked them. And there is a marked difference here. You can see the line where the other piece of paper was on top of it. Again, I'm still going to use it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just letting you know that that is what happens when you do overlap your papers in the pan. Okay, and I'll be right back and I'll show you how to do the ironing. Okay, I'm back. I did my first batch. I've kept my pans in the empty oven. I've got, just to make sure that they're hot to speed up the process of drying, and I've got my second batch soaking. So in the meantime, it doesn't matter what you do here. I can't find a method that will prevent wet paper from curling. So what I do is I iron it. Everybody's iron is going to be different, obviously. The setting that I have is not minimum, just over minimum. It's actually on the nylon setting. Again, your iron is going to be a different make and different settings and whatever. So you don't want it on the highest, but you don't want it on the lowest. So you're going to have to experiment. What I've got here, well, I should show you before I start. I've got my wood cutting board, and I've just got a tea towel. So I'm just going to press, hold a little bit. Now, I haven't tried this on the highest setting. I'm afraid of burning the paper, so that's why I have never tried the highest setting. But if you feel the need to experiment, please do, and let me know how you made out in the comments below. All right, so that is going to be much easier to handle as opposed to, you know, how they first come out of the oven. I'll just do a second sheet really quickly so that you can see. Now, what I might do later this afternoon is try some coffee staining as opposed to tea. I haven't done that before, coffee staining. I've splashed strong coffee on an already ironed tea stained sheet, and you saw the results earlier in the video when I showed you that piece of paper. So anyhow, that and again, obviously it's not going to be 100% because you know, you've saturated the paper, you've dried it in the oven, and you know, you're ironing it now. So what I might do is I might actually turn the temperature down just a wee bit because I'm seeing some circles on there, and so I'm just going to turn the iron down so it's not quite as hot. So that might be a tip for you too. The hotter, you know, the iron, maybe the more chance of you actually getting some patterning of your iron on the paper. And hey, it's all good. It's a junk journal, right? Right? Gotta keep reminding myself of that. It's not going to be perfection. Sometimes you don't even have to flip it over an iron, but hey, this is the only time I iron anything. I don't iron clothes, and so, you know, to spend a little bit of time with my iron today isn't a problem because I only use it for this purpose. All right, so I'm going to keep ironing, and I'm just going to do the process over and over again. So I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel. I will be having future tutorials on the process of junk journal making. Some videos I have are going to be just for beginners, and I like to try and make videos that are beginner and intermediate. It's useful for everyone. So anyhow, leave me any questions, comments below, and I will see you next time. Happy journaling. Take care. Bye-bye.